For the first time, supporters of the alleged victims of Tom Keesee are seeing what they have wanted to see for a long time. Keesee in an orange jail jumpsuit in front of a judge.
Just a range of emotions. Quite a difference from the rock star role that he's always played at the church.
That was Nicole Berger's reaction to seeing Tom Keesee in court. The charges against him come after months of investigation and what victims claim was years of abuse. Now Keesee is charged with 11 counts of rape, 11 counts of gross sexual imposition, and 5 counts of sexual conduct with a minor.
It just feels good that justice is finally coming for these victims.
Hello, and welcome to What the Talk, a platform dedicated to exploring spiritual themes, delving into the enduring truths found in God's Word, and encourage you to live a life grounded in His teachings. Thank you for joining us. Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a painful but necessary topic, one that challenges how we as believers respond to injustice, leadership failure, and the need for integrity. We're talking about the recent bond hearing for Tom Keesee and what it means for the victims, the church, and our witness as followers of Jesus Christ. Let us read together this news article from Knox Pages. Knox County judge sets $2 million cash bond for former Faith Life Church official. Bond was set at $2 million Wednesday for a former Faith Life Church official charged with 27 SA counts, including 11 RAP allegations. Knox County Common Plea Judge Richard Wetzel set the cash bond for Gary Thomas Keesee Jr. during an arraignment in front of a packed courtroom, an audience that included his parents, Gary Sr. and Drenda Keesee, co-pastors of the church based in New Albany. Keesee was indicted on Monday by a Knox County grand jury on charges that included 11 counts of first-degree RAPE, 11 counts of gross sexual imposition, and 5 counts of unlawful sexual conduct with a minor. None of the alleged crimes occurred at the church, according to investigators. Columbus defense attorney Samuel Shemansky entered no guilty plea to all charges on behalf of his client, who sat shackled next to him in an orange jail jumpsuit. Wetzel set bond at $2 million with no 10% provision. What does that mean? That means that he has to provide the full amount, $2 million. He also ordered a $5,000 cash deposit to cover the cost of a GPS monitor, suspended Keesee's driver's license, and ordered that he surrender his passport. Keesee, who resigned as the church chief media officer in 2024, has been in the Licking County Jail since Friday. Wetzel ordered he cannot be released until the bond and cash deposit are posted. He is also subject to weekly pretrial reporting to the Knox County Probation Department and was ordered not to have contact with the victims. Most of the arraignment was spent discussing bond. Assistant Licking County Prosecutor Clifford Murphy requested it be set at $5 million, a figure Shemansky argued was too high. Murphy said he based his bond request on the seriousness of the charges, noting 22 of them are considered crimes of violence. He also said Keesee was a flight risk because he has access to a private plane owned by his parents, and Keesee family has property in Canada and throughout the country. Shemansky denied Keesee was a flight risk. He said his client does not own a plane and does not have a pilot's license. This does not make sense. Of course, he does not own a plane, but his parents do own a plane. He does not have a pilot's license, but he can fly. I don't have a pilot license, but I can fly from place to place. So this defense does not make sense.
Had Thomas had the inclination to flee, he certainly wouldn't have waited until just a few days ago to exercise that intention. The truth of the matter is, Your Honor, that he respects this system of justice. He has faith in our system and in the citizens of this county to make a good, fair decision. And he's hired my firm to represent him throughout these proceedings. So he doesn't present a risk of flight. And in further consideration of that contention, that assertion, Your Honor, is that he stands before you with no record. He has a business. He's involved in production, in movie production. He's married, he's gainfully employed, he's a property owner in Licking County. His parents, who are longtime members of this community, are also owners of property here. Both of those properties are available to be pledged should the court feel that's necessary.
He also said Keesee had known about the investigation for 3 or 4 months. That's not true. He had known that people were accusing him for more than 4 months, and I believe that is one of the reasons why he resigned at the church. He continued to say that had Thomas had the intention to flee, he would have, Shemansky said, adding that Keesee respects the system and does not present a flight risk. He stands before you with no record, Shemansky told Wetzel. He has a business, he is married, gainfully employed, and is a property owner in Licking County. Shemansky also said the last alleged incident contained in the indictment occurred in 2011. From 2011 to 2025, my client has been working hard and obeying the law, he said. Yeah, for now, until other witnesses come forward. Shemansky noted that Keese's parents also own property. Both of those properties are able to be pledged should the court require that. So this makes sense to me. You are saying that you can pledge the parents' property, but he can't use the parents' plan? If the prosecutor had any evidence to prevent risk of flight, he would have presented it. Shemansky acknowledged the seriousness of the charges and said his client takes them seriously. However, he said if the prosecution had some super compulsory evidence, such as DNA, Murphy would have presented it in court Wednesday. He did this to minors, so of course there's not going to be any DNA evidence. And also it's been a long time since it happened. He did not, Shemansky said. This case rests on witness testimony. Yes, it does. The defense attorney says Keesee will get a fair trial in Knox County. After the arraignment, Shemansky said the $5 million bond request was high and that the $2 million is also a substantial sum. But his parents are rich. They're multi-millionaire people. I believe a recognizance bond is appropriate, he said. Shemansky said he is confident Keesee will receive a fair trial in Knox County. Judge Wetzel is above the fray, he said. He is beholden to the rule of law and he's been a super fair judge. If he felt uncomfortable, he would have recused himself. Shemansky said he is also not worried about sitting a jury in Knox County. My experience is that jurors once selected, I have no doubt the citizens can look beyond all of the media hoopla and look at the facts of the case, he said. Jurors take an oath. My experience is that jurors take it seriously. The defense attorney said it would be interesting to get to discovery. I can't imagine they have forensic evidence, he said. The alleged victims were not present in the courtroom. A victim advocate had no comment. Judge Richard Wetzel set bond at $2 million with strict conditions. By the way, this is cash bond. Tom has to pay the full amount before he could be released. No contact with victims, GPS monitoring, and surrendering travel documents. Prosecutors had requested $5 million in bond, citing access to a private plane and property across the US and Canada, but the judge went with the $2 million bond. Though the alleged abuse did not occur on church property, the accused's role as a former church leader raises deep concerns.
How confident are you that justice will be served here?
Extremely.
Keesee's attorney says justice looks different for his client, who he says is wrongfully accused. Sam Shemansky points out that some of the crimes date back decades and involve juveniles.
It's difficult for everybody involved, right? These cases are fraught with difficulty, for sure.
I'm extremely confident. The statute of limitation is 25 years, and I'm confident.
Everybody feels deceived. I think that there was a love of money more than a love of Jesus, and I feel like they really pushed that agenda, and I think people feel deceived in a lot of ways.
And now there are growing calls for Drenda Keesee, who not only co-pastors the church, but also serves as the Knox County Commissioner, to resign, citing potential conflicts of interest and lack of transparency. She took office in January 2025 after winning elections in November 2024. Of course, this could be seen as a conflict of interest because she sits as the county commissioner and she's the mother of Tom. And remember that this case was not able to go forward because she's friends with the attorney general there. She's a commissioner and also she's friends with the attorney general. So no investigation was done whatsoever in that county because nobody was interested in doing anything. So there could be a conflict of interest there.
Former church members were on hand. They say they're angry at how these allegations were handled by the church and by Keesee's parents, including his mother, who is a Knox County commissioner.
Drenda and Gary continued to hide this for years and years, and I think that they put Tom in positions of leadership over children. This is not just about Tom, this is about Drenda and Gary Keesee, and I think Drenda should step down from her Knox County commissioner seat. It's unacceptable that she's still in power over this county.
On Tuesday, Commissioner Bill Parcell read a prepared statement saying that she must take her own decision about continuing to serve on the board of commissioners. Former members of Faithlight Church were present at the hearing to support the victims. Nicole Berger shared how hard it was to see someone she once worshipped with face such charges. Others echoed her heartbreak and called for any additional victims to come forward. There is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known. That's Luke 12, verse 2 and 3. This is a moment for the church to reflect. It's not just a legal matter, it's a spiritual one. How do we respond when someone in a position of spiritual influence is accused of deep wrongdoing? 1 Timothy 3:2 reminds us, now the overseer is to be above reproach, self-controlled, respectable, hospitable. And James 3:1 says, not many of you should become teachers, because you know that we who teach will be judged more strictly. The gospel doesn't hide sin. It confronts it with truth, grace, and justice. We cannot protect reputations at the expense of people, especially not the most vulnerable, not children. Church leaders must walk the talk. Titles don't make us holy. Our integrity, humility, and obedience do. Let's hold each other accountable, not just in word, but in action. What does the Lord require of you? To act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. Micah 6, verse 8. This is Walk the Talk. Let's be the kind of believers who live what we preach. That's all I have for today, friends. Please consider subscribing, liking the video, and sharing the video. See you in the next one. God bless. Bye.